Run through the tape. In life, never give up. Run through the tape.
It is Wizards and Warriors in the nightcap on TNT, but we open with Houston and Cleveland. While the Cavs try and lock up the East, the Rockets are simply looking to avoid slipping out of the playoff picture. Despite a hot stretch from James Harden, Houston's lost 4 of their last 5. With the Cavs leading the chase for the 1 seed in the East by 3, LeBron rests tonight. The spotlight now on Kyrie Irving. He's averaged 27 a game in his career against Houston. So, we've got Houston with a problem trying to hang on by a thread. Meanwhile, the King's Court will need someone else to man the throne. The battle begins next. It is the Rockets against the kingless Cavs, and then the Wizards against the Dubs with history on the line. Here in Atlanta Studio J, it's TNT NBA Tip-Off presented by Auto Trader Casey Stern and for Ernie, alongside Shaquille O'Neal, Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Famer and WNBA legend Lisa Leslie.
Thank you.
And I'm trying not to make them all look too short. Guys, last 4 games. LeBron killing it. Now he's sitting. Coach, we all right with that?
I'm not all right with the sitting. I believe that you play it until the end, especially when you got a team so close to you in terms of Toronto. I don't know if they can catch you, but I think right now players, it's definitely a new era because it doesn't seem like home court is that important to players nowadays. When we were playing, it was like home court advantage really meant something. Right now, it seems like the players don't really care too much about home court advantage in the playoffs.
But I think this is a game that it doesn't matter. I mean, Houston's pretty much, they're fighting to make the playoffs. Right now, with Cleveland in the East leading the way, Toronto looked like they were struggling. I don't know what the final score was, but right now it is about rest. And I think the bigger picture is trying to win the championship, and that's why LeBron gets a chance to sit down. With him sitting down tonight, we'll give him 4 days rest. Now, granted, back in the day, you would have never seen where you get off, you get time to rest. Play a few minutes, coach sit you down the rest of the game. This is something new that we hadn't seen. Popovich got in trouble for it last year, but this is the new era, so we just got to get used to it.
3 and a loss.
Yeah.
They 3 and a loss column behind them, and clearly Cleveland doesn't feel any pressure then.
Right.
You know, and I just never looked at it that way. I was always like, you know, I want home court advantage. I want to win at home.
Home court advantage, Shaq, you know, home court advantage is the #1 thing you want to do. You want to take care of home. You want to have home court winnings. When you're home, you want to have the highest percentage when you win at home, and you want to have home court advantage. Why do you think this is not that important for them, Shaquille?
It is important, but Hawks had home court advantage last year. You know, you still have to win on the road. I'm sad because I have to disagree with one of my favorite people in Isaiah. I came in at the end of the old era,
right,
beginning of the new era. So I did what LeBron is doing now. And, you know, they want to have the #1 spot, but if they get the #2 spot, really not going to matter. Sometimes you need rest, you know, long schedule. And it's a tricky move because, like you said, they are 3 behind. But I think it's okay to rest towards the end of the season because, you know, you want to look and focus at the bigger picture. I was just like you, Isaiah, but, you know, when the new era came and Phil Jackson said, "You want to sit out?" Like, hell yeah, I want to sit out. But, you know, I want this guy to play well. I want, you know, the other guys to get the opportunity to shine because LeBron's going to definitely need help. You know, thinking far ahead, if they get a rematch with the Golden State Warriors, definitely going to need help. So, you know, when a guy goes out, the other guys should and have to step up and, you know, be able to shine. I want Kyrie to get off tonight. I want Kevin Love to get off tonight. I want everybody to be able to showcase. But, you know, guys taking 1 or 2 games off, I don't have a problem with that.
And they got to play cohesively. Go ahead.
I come from that heartbreak era where, you know, we always lost the 7th game in Boston. We lost the 7th game in Boston for 2 consecutive years. Chicago lost the 7th game in Detroit to us. Then we go to the finals. We lose the 7th game to LA. So home court advantage to me was always about having that 7th game in your building. And it doesn't appear that this generation of players are that focused on that last 7th game being in their building. And I know the heartbreak from that, you know, for 3 or 4 years in a row. And if you don't have that 7th game,
you're not bitter at all.
No, I'm not bitter. No, I just speak from. I think it would have made a difference. Yeah. You know that if that 7th game is being played, you want it played on your home court.
And I've experienced the same thing, losing the third. We almost won 3 championships. So back to back to back, we lost the third one because we didn't have home court advantage. Well, I don't want to talk any more about it.
The good news is the Rockets don't have to worry about any of that because they won't be at home if they get in the playoffs. What is that?
She only got 2. I got 3.
Yeah, they got 3 in a row.
You got to rub it in down on the end?
No, I never rub it in. I respect it so much.
The Rockets, I don't want to rub this into Dwight, but Shaq, I got to ask you. So how would you do 8 games in a row with 8 attempts or less? Because that's where Dwight is walking into this game tonight.
It'll definitely be a problem. You definitely would see it on Snapchat, on Instagram, on Twitter. I would tear the locker room up. I would have to point people out. You know, Houston is going to have to do something now that, as a player, I never wanted to do, and that's dig in your playoff tank early. Right now, they're in the 8th spot, but Dallas is right there. So you want to make the playoffs, everyone has to step up. And I think, you know, the guards have to do a good job of you know, getting them the ball. And I don't want people to think I'm sticking up for a big man, but speaking from a guard point of view now, as a big man, you got to act like you want it. You got to act like you want it, because, you know, I played with guys that, you know, if I didn't act like I didn't want it, they would call me out for the pick and roll. But if you give me the ball, let me go to work, throw some bowls, get a couple offensive fouls, and the guys see you want it, then they'll say, you know what, that's a big guy, we want to follow him. But if you're out there joking around, messing around, not taking the game seriously, then
Houston has a problem.
Yes.
Houston, there is a major problem. Yes, because it's about consistency, and you don't get the consistency from the guards getting the ball to the bigs, Dwight Howard not having the consistency of calling for the ball. So what do you have? They love to play a fast tempo, but as we all know, as you get closer to playoff time, it's about half-court execution, and they don't do that very well because, number one, he goes always away from the ball to the weak side. You're a big man, the ball side, get the ball to the big, and then let him decide. Is he double team? Kick it back out. Find your shooters, but they don't play an inside-outside game. And so that's what we're expecting when you look at Dwight Howard, get him the ball, and they don't do that enough. So I don't know that they're going to make it. I think Dallas might be able to come in. You know, Dirk is doing great. He's shooting well. They had some injuries, but I wouldn't be surprised if Houston doesn't make it to the playoffs.
And with Harden playing well, 34 his last game, they still haven't won. A lot of winners getting to the Final Four of the NCAA March Madness. Heads to the Final Four on Saturday. Nova against Oklahoma. Then it's Cuse and UNC. All begins this Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, on TBS. We've got more coming up, getting you ready for Rockets and Cavs. All right, coming up in Game 2 of our Double Dip, it's the Wizards and John Wall against the Splash Brothers and the Dubs, looking for the record. Speaking of which, time now for our Auto Trader Perfect Match poll question. Will the Warriors win at least 72 games? And look at that up-to-the-minute standings right there. Right now it's yes, yes, yes. Meanwhile, you'd like to say yes in the playoffs if you're James Harden. 11-16 their last 27. They've lost 4 of 5. Now they go to get the kingless Cavs in Cleveland. The game is next.